Hello, hello, everyone. Happy Tuesday. I'm so excited every time I come on the screen with one of the three of these ladies on this Her True Self 4 week immersive experience that we have coming up. I am with the Play Money coach, Nashaya. For those who do not know me, I'm Lauren LC, the Gut Health Bestie. I'm a certified digestive health coach and the founder of Hervival, which is all about holistic wellness and self care for empowering women on their self care journey to support them to combat stress, overwhelm, and burnout. So, Nashaya, go ahead and introduce yourself. We have a really good topic. We're about to just tell our story. So, you're catching us as real, as raw as it, and we're in our hoodies. This is what it's like working behind the scenes. And we want to talk about our stories on where we talk about the money within. Now, I have a really true experience on the inner work that I had to do that I started to see more financially
Mhm.
and true abundance by mastering the inner game of wealth. And Shaya, not only does she do it professionally, but she has her personal story. So before we get into that, Shaya, could you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Yeah, so I'm the Play Money coach, also a financial coach for people who are like, what is that, right? And I work with high achieving women who want to manage their money like a boss, so they have more play money to do the things they enjoy, like shop guilt free. And like a lot of times we want to focus on the shopping part, but we don't want to talk about the money management part. So I always get excited about it because it truly is a step in the right direction for anyone who wants to build a healthy relationship with themselves, their money, like overall well being. And I love that we're talking about that within that inner work that needs to happen because it's cool to talk about strategies and, quick things that we can implement, but a lot of times those things don't last because we don't do the full inner work, the whole wellness that goes along with the strategies.
Absolutely. So I want to talk about like that the full inner work, and for anybody who can connect to relate to us. Have you seen when you started taking care of yourself within being more mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually sound that you seem that you had a better relationship with your money? I would love to know. Put a yes in the comment if you want to share how it's been working for you. I would love to know one, if you have seen that to work in your life, put a two in the chat if you are working through that, and put a three in the chat if you're hopeful about it, but you need some support in helping on like how to go on that path. Because I definitely remember the time where I'm like hearing it a little bit, like, as above, so below, and what's within is what is going to be on your on the outside, but I didn't know how to start. Like, I was just like, okay, here, but like, where am I going to begin? So if that's you, and you are figuring it out, you're ready to kind of get over where finances is literally having you in a chokehold, and then you're also trying to like juggle taking care of yourself, but life be life in, and you're out like on the go. Just feel like, where can I even start to do this? Definitely put that three in the chat. I would love to know. But Nashaya, I would love to know, when did your journey start where you realized that okay, it's the money within. Like, we are like the true currency, right? And I'll talk about that in a bit. But the currency of like what I'm actually achieving has to do a lot with my inner work. When did that start for you?
Yeah, it really started for me when I realized that I didn't want to live my life the way I was living it anymore. And like just, feeling like I wasn't deserving of a better job, a better relationship, more money. And then it was like, no, I don't want this for my life. Like I want something different. I do deserve to be happy. I do deserve a job who pays me my worth. And I don't want to have to stress about money forever just because that's just been the cycle in my family. So just really getting to that point where I got fed up and I was like, enough is enough. I'm tired of this and,
Mm-hmm.
and I need something different. And I think, we all kind of have that breaking point. When it happens, it varies from person to person. Like sometimes you got to push people way to the last limit before they make that decision. And then other times it happens rather quickly. But for me, I would say it was like most of my 20s, that I just felt like that. And then it was my early 30s where I was like, okay, I can't do this anymore. Something's got to give. So that was my the beginning of my transformation.
I feel like everybody can relate to when there's like a point of like quote unquote pain, like
Mhm.
emotionally feeling like, okay, I can't take this. We literally say that same thing, like enough is enough. I can't take this anymore. It's like your back is against the wall. And that actually creates this self awareness of like, I don't know what, but this ain't it. So now you're
Mhm.
making a new agreement of who you are, your identity. And when you do that, stuff starts to open up. So like I believe in the sense of like, it's almost kind of like an incantation, like when you be like, okay, like, you pray to whoever it is that you pray to, your higher power. Like for me, I'm like, all right, God, like, I don't know what, but this cannot be it. And I think for me, I had a midlife crisis out of college.
Mm.
I graduated college in '08, right when the whole market crash and all that stuff that was happening. So I was just like, okay, jobs were like really hard for a lot of my um like alumni and stuff of us who graduated, we were having a hard time finding jobs or really low income. And I was one of those. And I was like, I did all this for this little bit of salary. Like I'm living in New York at that, living on my mother's couch. Like a studio is like $1,100, $1,200 at that time. And I was like, how, Sway? Like, how am I going to be able to get this
Mhm.
going? And I'm like, God, I don't know what the path is, but this can't be it. And I want more. I worked too hard, giving up going to college, student loans, all these things to be at this
Mhm.
state. And I don't want to repeat a cycle where I feel like, the next generation, and whenever I do want to have children, they got to start over too, because I'm literally only having enough money to take care of myself.
Right.
And then when you do that, stuff starts to open up. And for me, my story, when I realized to master like the game of wealth, I didn't understand. Like it took for me when I left corporate working in social services and started getting into fitness
Mhm.
and understanding like health, and I started taking care of myself, I started feeling better. Like I started having more confidence, I started having more energy. I then started looking at the qualities of foods I was eating and how expensive that was, right? And I'm like, well, I deserve that. So what do I need to do to be able to fund this that I feel worthy of? So a
Mhm.
lot of that money within is the basically your inner worthiness.
Yeah.
So I would love to know if people had that reflection. And we're actually going to be sharing a lot more about like the inner worthiness, the true abundance of being able to elevate and grow mentally, physically, spiritually. And it'll be myself, the play money coach Nishea, and we also have Sierra. She's going to be here today, but Sierra, who's the psychotherapist, we're literally teaming together as a triad with our her true self 4-week immersive experience to really help and ignite women on their journey. And it's totally free. Like you can totally
What?
come in and get access to information. We have a private community and group. You can opt in now to join our list. You'll be the first one to know when everything launch, where you can have access to our private group. And throughout that 4 weeks, we are digging into this work, y'all. Like we are really
Mhm.
digging in, come with a whole new notebook, and really kind of really get in and do some work. And those who are there live will be able to connect with us, ask questions. Like we're really passionate about our individual work, and we realize the three of us together really is what makes a whole and complete woman. Mentally, physically, and spiritually, emotionally, like all these things. And that has been the experience for me. Like when I share and I coach, I teach, I always say it's mind, body, and spirit. Nothing can be off the table of one or the other. And that's when it was a realization for me. Like as I started taking care of my body, I started to feel better and I
Mhm.
started to feel more worthy. So then my spirit started to be more activated and I felt more connected to God. And I started having a more impactful and powerful relationship with God and starting to feel deserving of the things. Like, I started to realize, oh, God didn't put me in this space to lack because I'm Black and I live in the city and, all these things. Like, he's not going to dangle the carrot of these things to start opening me up on my path and I can't have it. But I'm
Right.
like, the money, the math ain't mathing. So what are the things? And then I started really realizing mindset was super important. I needed to change my relationship with money. The Play Money Coach would help you with that. I needed to heal my old wounds, like my inner child
Mm.
wounds that told me or made me think differently of deserving these things, or that kind of had me in an emotional chokehold that I didn't realize that was like a blind spot. We got Sierra that's going to help you with that. That
Hmm.
got in the way where I realized I was self sabotaging. I had my own bits of imposter syndrome to some capacity that I didn't even realize that started to be unveiled. So these are the things to work on. And this is why all three of us are coming together to really share and talk about that, because all three of us work with high level, passionate, purpose driven women, and they deal with these things we're talking about. Like they have this glass ceiling that gets in the way of them breaking through their threshold in their money, breaking through their threshold in their health and wellness. Me, as the gut health bestie, I really am passionate about helping with gut health and lifestyle skills, and definitely prioritizing your self-care to manage stress and burnout so that you can be more, have the energy to be able to show up efficiently as you want. I believe everybody deserves a great quality of life, but we can't have a
Hmm.
good quality of life if our health is not intact, because our health
Exactly.
is our wealth, right?
Yep.
So then that's where I help with. So the three of us got some heat for y'all. Like when I say we got some heat for y'all, we got some heat for y'all. And we're giving back by sharing this story, these experiences for free. You know, all you got to do is just opt in and join. If you go to the link that I attached here or go to hertrueself.org, you can be able to get access. It's just our opt-in page. Put your information in, and as soon as we get everything live and going and the groups, you'll be the first one to know, so you can join and you can lock in. We are starting off hot November 29th. That's when we're kicking off, and then each of us will take each week going into the emotional, the physical, and the financial health aspects that the three of us would do over the coming weeks. So we are closing out this year strong, y'all. We getting into that new me, new you, all those things now. We not waiting for the New Year's. But Nisha, anything that you want to share as far as like, the things that helped you to be able to create more wealth and prosperity before we close out?
Yeah, I think once I started working on the inner wealth, you talked about deservingness and really realizing like, okay, God didn't put the carrot in my face so I couldn't access these things, and started, that's when it opened up that there's opportunities and there's more available to me versus what I see right now. I think sometimes that's another barrier, is that sometimes we're in this cycle and all we see is what's in front of us, and once we get exposed to something else, then it's like, oh, okay, now I can't unsee it. Now I got to go
Mm-hmm.
after it, type thing. And that was kind of my journey, just being exposed to people who were similar to me. We worked in the same place, but yet they had found a way to wealth and freedom. And I was like, okay, so I can see this is possible for me. And then I started going on that journey. So yeah, really exposing ourselves to see that there's more opportunity available for us, and then actually taking the initiative to do the things that we need to do to make it happen. Um, and then just knowing that, okay, once I get the money, I can keep getting more. It's not going to stop. And also, I need to be a good steward of my money if I want to maintain it, and get more of it. Because that's the other thing. It's like we think that, oh, I'm just going to keep making more and more money. But the money doesn't want to come into chaos. It doesn't want more money doesn't want to come to you if you didn't manage what you have well
Woo-hoo.
already. So, yeah, like there's just so many layers, and then a lot of stuff that people don't think about because we're just, I don't know.
Well, one is this wasn't a common conversation. We speaking specifically. You got three Black women here, right?
Yeah.
And we can all agree. This is what how this came about. We can all agree that these things that we had to learn, we had to go to school, we had to, cut out people and friends and all these things that we
Mm,
had to go. That was like, I wouldn't say hidden, but it was like right in plain sight. But we had to feel worthy to be able to explore. You
yeah.
said something too, that like the people you've been around, like I wasn't exposed to people just talking about, like the actual mindset and like, mastering your inner game for wealth. And like where you said, like, okay, once you attract the money, like money is energy. So
Hmm.
back to what I was saying when we started this, as far as currency, right? Like when you hear money, it all sounds in spaces of water, like money flow, currency, all those things. Sounds like a space of water. And I love what Tony Jones, I like to listen to her a lot. She sings affirmations music. I love when she talked about, all these aspects where they talk about money where it relates to water, and if we made 70% of water, then what does that make the connection of? And I was like, oh, that's pretty deep. Like, I didn't think about that. And like, money is a space of energy. So like, who you are is what you attract, from the
Mhm.
people to the money you make. And like you said, money is your abundance. The true game of wealth and abundance and prosperity is not to a fiat dollar.
Right.
There's and I had to realize this because I had to stop tying my bank account specifically to my abundance and my wealth. And then
Mm.
when I started to let that go and realize, like, oh, I'm abundant right here. Like, look at how stuff is coming to me, or people coming and helping my business, or how somebody connected me, and oh, I got this grant that led to the money. Like, money is just a tool to get the
Yes.
things you want. So that's why you have to become, it needs to be a part of your identity and your being, of what you feel worthy of to deserve, and the opportunities happen to you, whether it
Mhm.
is from an actual dollar, or you never know if someone might donate something for you. I've seen people, even women in my community, where someone gave them a car, like, what I mean, that was the energy of what they needed, they felt worthy of and deserving of and open to receive. That was a
Mhm.
huge thing. Asking was a big problem for me.
Yep.
And when somebody wanted to give, I didn't realize how much I was blocking their blessing and my blessing. But I'm like, no, you don't have to do that. And I was like, oh, this is the money that, like, I might need or I'm looking for when somebody wanted to support me or my business. So it's
Mhm.
a lot of layers, y'all. We can keep talking about this all day, but we wanted to just come in and speak about our true story, about how we've been able to see the hidden potentials within, as far as being able to create wealth, abundance and prosperity, in our health, our wealth, as well as the emotional well-being. So the three of us will be here sharing, talking about this starting November 29th. Make sure you lock and put in your name first and foremost. Go to the link here or go to hertrueself.org. It will direct you to the link. So if anybody has like a thing that pops up, it'll go right to the thing. And all you have to do is put your information in. You'll be the first one to know and get access to the group, and get around like-minded women that is thriving and also wanting to put themselves around this information. That was another thing too. I had to get around this information,
Mhm.
around others who wanted it, around others who was willing to work and do the inner work to create it.
Yeah.
And just rubbing shoulders with the right people will put you in the right spaces. So this is something that we also are building and creating a community of other women who also believe in connecting to her true self, and that's what we're passionate about. So click that link. We'll see y'all soon. Later.
See ya.